I suppose Febby's going to be the pos 4 here? We don't even know what position he's going to play.
I think it's likely he's going to be 4. I believe that was the position he played when he was in Genesis, right? Like when we were casting
Okay.
Genesis, he
Yeah,
was
that's
on that
fair.
pause 4 role.
Right, okay.
So it's probably Fabi Shaker. We do see the NP coming out here as well. So there's some flexibility now. I think it's still kind of open whether or not you want the Shaker or the NP to kind of be the one running around. Although we have seen a tendency for the Nature's Prophet on the offlane.
Right.
So we'll see just how much they can get from KP in that case. It's one of those offlaners we see often, right? You just have great push potential. You've got great presence on the map for rotations, and that can play against the aggression Boom wants. So there are certain things now kind of lining up for TNC. We'll see how much more they build up with this draft. It's not the strongest opening in my opinion.
Yeah, I've got to be frank as well. When I think of Nature's Prophet, I don't necessarily think of KP straight away. He does play the hero. It's just not one of his signature heroes. It's not one of the heroes you see him on very often, which does really make me feel like it may be the March Pos 5 Prophet. I don't know if that really suits the meta though right now. Every other time we do see the Prophet, it is in the Pos 3 or even the Pos 1 at some points. But then again, it's also not a very Gabby-like hero, so
No.
more than likely going to be Pos 3 or Pos 5. Boom Esports, they will happily respond with the Winter Wyvern now. Not really much reason for the Wyvern, I would say, John. I suppose you've got some nice D push there with the Splinter Blast, and Winter's Curse is always pretty darn good. TNC, however, will not hesitate. They will go into the Grimstroke, and now we know that that will definitely be an offlane Prophet.
Yeah. So it's the core Prophet, which again you mentioned it, but it's not exactly the most KP disruptive hero, but we've seen a lot of teams favor that. We'll see how much they can maximize. I think with a Grimstroke, though, you are building up a little bit more in that presence. We've seen a lot of plays with, say, running a Treant up with the Inkswell, and that is pretty annoying to deal with. So you've got that option now from TNC. Boom with the Winter Wyvern, I think, is still pretty solid, even though you don't have the best of like heroes to punish for that. It just gives Boom a lot of early aggression that we have seen them favor. Like Boom Esports just loves running at you, loves forcing fights. You've got great laning presence with a Winter Wyvern. You've got great team fight. The only issue is, say, something like easy stuns coming out. There aren't much. You're depending on 2 ults and an arrow, and that is something TNC can kind of abuse there.
Yeah, that is definitely true. Unless this Mirana plays like an absolute god, they are going to have to really rely on that roar from the Beastmaster and the curse from that Wyvern. Of course, there used to be that build with Mirana a couple months ago, I think it was, where you just built straight into the Yule Scepter.
Ooh.
And Boom Esports now, into the Wraith
Oh.
King. I know what you're thinking, John. He better have the Arcana.
Oh.
It better be a Skeleton King we're going to see. But
Oh, yeah.
TNC Predator goes straight into the PA, so not bothering with that Pos 1 Ricky. Is it a good PA game, though?
Good PA game, you pick it into Winter Wyvern. I don't think that's ever going to be good. It's always going to be a lot more difficult for the targets you jump. You have to
True.
worry about the Cold Embrace blocking your damage. You have to worry about the Winter's Curse. And PA up against Raid King, it's not the best in terms of burning early mana. So there is a way for the Raid King to kind of leverage that. We'll see how TNC builds, right? Like
Okay.
we've seen Gabby opt for Battle Furies a lot. I think this is a game for it. This is not too bad. You're going to be clearing out skeletons. You're clearing out Beastmaster summons. There is value in a slower PA game. You will just be giving time for the Raid King to build up, though, if you go that route. Like you don't tend to see a Battle Fury Raid King for the most part. The slower build is like a Radiance, which is more of a fighting build anywhere. So regardless of what Boom decides to go for, they will be online a bit faster in that Raid King than you'd expect the PA to be.
And it's going to be a question as well of what kind of build the PA goes into, right? Because do you
Mm.
really want the Battle Fury this game? We've seen Gabby do it, though. That's the thing. Like, last time we saw TNC play PA, I believe we comment... Wait a minute. Tide Hunter's picked up. I don't see a mid laner here. So, it's either a Tide off lane or a Tide mid. It could be a PA mid or a PA pos 1. And so who's off lane here? Like, it must be the Tidehunter, right? It could be a mid. It could be a mid Tide, but for what reason? We don't even know who's mid for Boom Esports yet.
Yeah, I don't think it's great down mid. Ooh, and Boom closes out with Necrophos as well. So there's a lot here to deal with at PA. I think just yes, DreamOCell has it. Yeah, he doesn't disappoint, but okay, so it's KP on the Tide. It's NP mid isn't too bad. Like, that's something we've seen before. Well, rarely, very, very rarely before, but it can kind of work. I don't know how much value you're getting from it, though, up against a Necrophos. Like, Mikoto should just have free last hits there. There's really not much you can do.
So mid Prophet. That's a new one. We've seen plenty of off-lane Prophet, plenty of safe-lane Prophet, plenty of support Prophet. I have not seen the mid Prophet yet. How much it's going to do for Armel, I'm very intrigued. I haven't had the pleasure of seeing Armel on this hero. Febby will indeed be playing the POS 4 Earthshaker, so fair enough. He just directly swaps out with Tim's.
Yeah,
I've got to go ahead and say on a whim, I think Boom Esports draft is much better. But
oh yeah.
Then again, I'm saying that without really knowing what the strategy here is for TNC. I don't know what they're up to. It just seems very all over the place. Now, mind you, it's a very early style lineup, and they can fight very early into Boom Esports. So, coming from that series where they were up against Adroit, where Adroit was just running at them constantly, at least this time they are going to be able to fight back, right? They won't have to wait too long to have those big ultis up. They have a Prophet who can TP constantly. They have a Tidehunter Ravage. It's always going to be good. But whether it's going to work up against Boom Esports, that's a whole different question entirely.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue I have with this faster draft coming out from TNC is that, yeah, they've got earlier ults, but there's a cooldown on Ravage. There's a cooldown on Echo Slam. Those are pretty long. And how can you beat the one true Skeleton King, Mike? You can't.
You can't do it. And here we are. We've got to harvest some tributes, sir. Right? It's a professional game, but we're still harvesting some souls. We'll see. Dreamer Soul, he wants all those heroes, apparently. And I don't know how this harvesting thing works, John. I haven't got this Arcana because, you know, I'm broke, unlike you, apparently. But it seems as though he needs all the heroes. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, I think you need 100 unique heroes to kill, so that's basically the majority. It's not going to be an easy time for DreamOCell. Like we were talking about TNC's draft having holes. You are still running a Wraith King up against a Tide. That is something KP can really leverage.
Did you just say Wraith King? I don't see a Wraith King.
Right. It's a Skeleton King.
Thank you, sir.
Of course. This title on the portrait's just wrong. You know?
It is wrong.
It's just wrong.
It's unplayable, Valve. You got to change this. This is very incorrect.
Oh,
so anyway, you were saying the Skeleton King up against KP.
Yeah, the Tide can just really slow down that pace. Kezcute will have to really provide a strong distraction here. Once you have level 3 in KP, it gets a little bit tougher for DreamOCell to find that free farm he would like.
KP's already going to take a bit of harass here, but we'll actually lose half his HP out of that, surprisingly enough, just from that Arctic Burn. I believe that was a 2-for-2 trade on the bounties, and it was. Boom managed to find both bottom bounty runes. But yeah, I do agree, it should be somewhat of a struggle here for the Skeleton King to find some farm up against KP's Tide. How much of a struggle, though, is a different story entirely, and I love the fact that Febby goes for the double block. That's not something you see so often. You usually see only one Fisher block on that creep wave, but going for the double block like that is going to give KP a really good start.
Yeah, and that's really going to be important for TNC. They need KP to be in a position to slow down DreamOCell's farm. We've seen Wraith Kings play from behind. It's not the best. Like, their jungle farm is alright, but you do start to lose the push potency when you have to use those skeletons to clear out camps instead.
Well, at least you do have that option though. Like Dreamer Soul, even if he does have this bad lane matchup, will always have that secondary source of income. But look at KP being so aggressive right now. Nice Fisher out from Febby, but it won't quite block Dreamer Cell in. Had it done so, that may have actually been a kill for KP. And Dreamer Cell will at least get his salve off and be perfectly fine. But Dreamer Cell will have to be very wary, even of the Gush. That minus armor and slow is quite detrimental to this hero.
Yeah, it's really just not the easiest time. I think if you compare that to RPA down bot, you are seeing a little bit more coming out in the FBZ.
Yeah, he might be dead right now. You have that Blink Inkswell combination. FBZ does die. March the one to take the kill on the Grimstroke. But it's a decent start here for TNC, and that's really one thing we didn't really mention in that draft stage, John. Last game you had an Earth Shock into an Inkswell. This time you have a Blink Strike into an Inkswell.
Yeah, it's still plenty potent. It comes online really strong in the lane, and FBZ, even if he's on this Beastmaster, which can win out, I don't think it's going to be very easy with the presence of that Grimstroke. There's only so much you can expect from Hyde to pull that pressure off, and it's not going to be that easy here.
Looking at that mid lane as well, it's the one lane we haven't really talked about at all yet. It's Armel versus Mikoto, Necrophos versus a Nature's Prophet, which I never thought I'd see the day that I'd see these two heroes in the mid lane, but here we are. And as you can imagine, John, they're just hitting creeps. It's really all you can do. So neither one really going to be affected by the other up until maybe the level 6 mark, where you will have that Reaper's Scythe up. But up until that point, it's almost guaranteed neither of these heroes will die.
Nah, definitely not. They're not going to be looking to play too aggressively. I think the one advantage Armel has is that he could perhaps dip into his camps easier, so he can accelerate his farm just a bit more, and you can control the waves with those treants. Whereas Mikado, he's going to have to spam the Death Pulse if he wants to clear out the wave, which
is in trouble. Inkswell does connect. Gabby right behind him with another dagger to the back. FBZ trying to run away, but he's running out of regen, and he is going to die once again to Gabby. Still Hyde, going to try and get the trade here onto March, but he has to be careful not to die himself. Gabby throws out another dagger with the Blink Strike. March has the Stroke of Fate. Hyde trying to leap away, but that is his last leap charge, and Gabby, he could keep chasing for this. It may be a double, and it will be. Gabby on the PA just being relentless, and Hyde just tunnel visioning on trying to get that trying to get that Grimstroke kill. Eventually does find it because March does deny himself off to the tower. But that is not great news for Boom.
It definitely isn't. It's a really, really hard lane for Boom and the bot. FBZ is not slowing down, not really putting a dent in Gabby's farm, and this should give our PA a bit of a faster start. We don't quite know yet what Gabby's going for. He still just has the phase boots queued up, so it could still be a Battle Fury game, and as long as the timing's good, I don't think it's too bad. Like, you get some decent wave clear and just a lot more farming time. The Raid King at some point does taper off, so the PA should be able to take advantage of that, as long as you don't lose your towers too fast.
Top lane, Kescute could be in trouble, though Febby doesn't go for the Fisher. Of course, Kescute has the Arctic Burn, so he'll always just be able to fly over the Fisher. But Febby will be allowed to go ahead and take both top bounty runes. And Hyde will do the exact same thing down at the bot lane. These static lanes will remain very static. Apart from that bot lane, of course, where there was some action going on. But it looks like Hyde wants to change that a bit. He's gone into the mid lane now. Of course, if you land a nice arrow, you definitely have that kill potential. Not to mention as well, we are going to see the level 6 just come up on Makoto, so Hyde has this perfect timing right now. He's gone to that nice tree line where you won't really see the arrow to the last second, and Armel, he will take it right to the face, and with that, that is a guaranteed kill. Perfectly played from Hyde.
Yeah, they got some pretty good punishment out mid. I think this is going to just put a bit of a dent in our Melt's initial farm. They do drag Febby out, so this is freeing up some space up top. I'm sure Dreamocell will appreciate a little bit more breeding room to find his farm.
Yeah, Febi's in the mid lane as well, but it's... eventually, Armel will have to make his way back in. Febi will just leave the lane altogether. And again, I'm kind of just wondering where this mid Prophet's going to go. Like, what's the intention here? Are we looking for fast levels to get the treants up to start making pushes happen? Is he rushing a Desolator? What do you think the game plan is for Armel?
I think the best way to go about it is to get the Desolator here in this game so that your PA can bypass that. If you are going to go for that greedier sort of Battle Fury build, if your NP has it, you don't need it. You can start farming for other items. Maybe you go for a Diffusal in this case. Maybe you go for a Manta to dodge stuns in this case for the PA. Because once you're pinned down by the Wraith King stun, it can be a bit devastating. So there are a few more options for Gabby if they go with a physical NP in this case. Although it looks like Armel is saving up for the Blade Mail we see a lot of mid-cores go for, and just for the stats for now.
That's fair enough. It's very, very standard to go for the Blade Mail right now. It's just such a great item to have in that mid lane. It's fairly standard on the Nature's Prophet to pick up that item anyway. Armel, go pick up the shovel, sir. Can't leave that alone. Bot lane, Hyde, trying to be disruptive here up against March and Gabby. Does now hit that level 4 mark on Mirana, and FBZ making his way in. He does have that level 6. You definitely always want to just try and get an immediate roar off if you can, if you are playing the Beastmaster. And even if it is just on March, you just want to have to commit it and get a kill. But he doesn't really find the opportunity, and he will just go back into the lane. That means Hyde's going to roam back into the mid lane now. Thing is, Armel isn't around, but we do have a TP coming in from Febi. And so you could go ahead and secure an easy Earthshaker kill if you so wish. Febi, going to be a bit disruptive here with Hyde. Makoto won't even bother. And while all that's been happening, up at the top lane, they do manage to take the T1 tower, as Armel did make the rotation. Arrow does connect, and Reaper's Scythe will finish off the kill on Febi.
Yeah, it's a great trade for Boom. Giving up that top tier 1 for the mid tier 1 is most certainly a win. The kill on top of that is a nice bonus as well. And this does start to give a bit of control for TNC up top. You can see KP going deep into the jungle. They've got some nice wards out as well. So,
trying to run away. He shouldn't have lived through that. There was an arrow out by Hyde, but it just completely missed. And March, surprisingly enough, will walk away.
Yeah, just a bit of a missed opportunity. Not the easiest time to burst when Reaper's Sight is down. So you are down a piece of control, though. I suppose now that FBZ is around, you should have the hold to really clean up some heroes if you find them.
Well, FBZ is still looking for that roar attempt. He's chasing down March. Gabby will show himself now. The blur will wear off. Makoto going to be there as well. They don't have Reapers, but they should have enough damage, though. No, they don't. Baby gets a Fisher. Ooh. There's a Ravage from KP into the Inkswell on Makoto. He's in big, big trouble. He will end up going down. And now FBZ, does he get out? He does. They didn't have any stuns off cooldown to cancel that TP off. But you found a huge pick-off on that Necrophos, and the TNC looking much better than their previous series.
Yeah, it's a lot more activity on the map for them. They are finding some key pickoffs. The one hero they really haven't punished is Dreamocell. So you are looking at a fairly free-farmed Wraith King, but you could argue the same with Gabby. He's just been left to farm up. Again, he is going for that Battle Fury build in this case. So there is going to be a lot more farming for him, but I don't think it's a massive issue. Again, Boom's draft is the one that wants to play a bit faster. So TNC, they could probably just be perfectly fine taking it slow.
Curse going to be there on Gabby. Into the arrow, of course, a very old combination to have. With that, the Starfall out from Hyde, but Gabby is actually tankier than you'd expect. He turns around now. Kescue with the Soulbind on top of him will end up dying. March gets the kill with the Inkswell. And, I mean, you'd expect they'd be able to find that kill with the Wyvern Mirana, but even that arrow, just not going to be enough.
Nah. They didn't quite stagger that out perfectly, so the damage from the arrow didn't go through. and they really just didn't wait for the curse to almost go off before committing, and that does cost them. The two supports aren't enough to clean up. You're gonna need a core there as well, though their mid tower is melting fairly quick.
Yeah, it is. Armel, this is what he's good at. Stun gonna fly out. Deny attempt, not gonna be there. Dream Assault, do you want to keep fighting? He doesn't have Reincarnate skilled up right now. So it may not be the time for Dream Assault to get involved. And he is still trying to just farm towards that Radiance build on the Skeleton King. And with that, TNC, understanding this Radiance is being built, will start taking over that dire side jungle.
Yeah, they've got the wards, they've got the map control. They would have loved the gold, but Dream Assault somehow managed to find that deny. Easy transition to top, though.
Oh, bot lane, however, Febby ends up dying, but it won't matter if you find that top tier 2 tower. Problem is, Makoto does TP in on the Necrophos, and that'll stop any form of push happening. Does have the Reaper Scythe up as well, so you have to be very careful about going into that Necrophos for a team fight. Instead, they will rotate. KP now just going to farm up the mid lane. This is all just a patience game for Boom. They understand they can't actually fight without that Radiance on the Skeleton King. And Dream Assault, slowly but surely, is getting to that Sacred Relic soon.
Yeah, it's almost there. And that should be up before the Battle Fury of Gabby. So there's going to be a big window for Boom to have a bit of an advantage. They're just taking it slow, split pushing where they can. FBZ doesn't quite have enough farm in though.
Swell Ravage has to be committed. Definitely worthwhile for that Beastmaster kill. And the Inkswell just was not going to stun him in time to cancel the TP. Quick thinking though from FBZ, understanding with that TP he could at least force out a Ravage before he dies.
Yeah, it's again a bit of a down period for TNC when they expend that spell. Gonna be 2 minutes at least until you see a big engagement, and that just gives free time for Dream Assault to continue to work towards that Radiance.
That might be the idea though from TNC, right? Like, we know that Dream Assault's not going to want to fight right now. In fact, most of Boom aren't willing to fight at the moment, so just commit the Ravage, because we're not going to need it anyway. And, I don't think they mind about that cooldown. Not for that one anyway.
Nah. It's still... You'll take any kill. It's still a core you're finishing off, and FBZ has been slowed down by a substantial factor. He's still saving up for his first Necronomicon. It's not the fastest pace we've seen coming out from a Beastmaster, so the potency of the push is not quite there yet. It's going to take a while for them to further pressure those tier 2s.
Boom are just going to continue to take their time. Just needs the Radiance recipe now on Dream Assault. Plus, it's not like the farming's over after that, but you can at least get involved. But we do see a Moonlight Shadow coming out. FBZ does have the Roar available again. Makoto is going to be right behind him, and even the Mirana just going to take the outpost while they're there. But March understands there's more than one hero around, and he will just back out of that bot lane. And it looks like they are going to make a chase up a top lane, where Kezcute is just going to be able to TP out on the Wyvern. TNC are desperately trying to push right now, but it's just not really... There's not really many openings.
Yeah, it's just a slow game from both sides. Again, you've got just a lot of heroes that need farm from Boom. Same thing going on with TNC. It is going to be the BKB right after that Battle Fury for Gabby. So he just wants to finish the Fury and jump in, take control in the fights. Once you have that BKB up, you only need to worry about FBZ. And that is still a bit of an issue, but if they can blow him up first, then it's an easy cleanup for that PA.
Yeah, I think he's just confident. Even with the Roar, it just may not be enough. Bot lane, speaking of that Roar, it will be committed just for the kill onto March, and they do eventually find it. Took a bit longer than they would have hoped for sure, but A kill is a kill, and now it's on to that bottom tier 2 tower, but their top tier 2 is being pushed in by RML, and this is the real strength of TNC's draft. But here's the Winter's Curse coming in, Arrow to follow up straight onto KP.
Oh.
In fact, no, it ended up hitting Febby. They do kill off Kescute in return though, but it looks like TNC are no longer interested in continuing this team fight. You do still have the Ravage if you want to turn around. TNC would rather hold it for now. In all fairness, with Gabby having the Battle Fury, of course he just wants to keep farming. He doesn't want to fight until he has that BKB up. But you do have a Radiance now on Dreamer Soul.
Yeah, this is the point where the Wraith King's presence can't really be ignored. He's just going to constantly burn you down throughout his 2 lives, and there's really nothing from TNC to drain that mana away. So even without that level 20 talent, Dreamo Cell should be guaranteed 2 lives every single engagement. And of course, the moment he starts showing up in lane, he can start to commit the skeletons to a tower. So there can be a push that can come out from Boom.
Well, for now, he's just going to keep farming up to try and get that silver edge. Because with that Radiance, you do escalate and farm quite a lot on this Wraith.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Meanwhile, TNC, still with that Ravage, still with the Echo, will smoke up. They'd love to run down to that bot lane and try to take that big team fight right now, but Makoto gonna break the smoke there on Febby. KB, meanwhile, just running up to the top lane. So instead of taking a big team fight, they want to try and get that tier 2 trade. Only thing is, Boom has already found that tier 2 bot tower, and RML is still trying to work on the top tier 2. And Boom, Moonlight Shadow popped, trying to fight the mid lane now. They know where Febby is. He's right underneath an Observer Ward. A roar will come out, followed up by an easy arrow. And that's going to be a guaranteed kill onto Febby. And they still haven't found that tier 2 tower at the top lane. They're still trying to get there. Kescute has been delaying things as best as possible. And now with the Winter's Curse, he can set up here onto RML. He's holding out for now. Orchid is there on RML, so he'll delay things quite a bit. FBZ doesn't have the roar. They'll settle for KP, however. Arrow is going to be there. Kraken Shell, however, will purge the arrow off, but it will not purge Reaper Scythe off, and an immediate smoke straight after.
Yeah, I like the aggression coming out from Boom. They know they've got a slight advantage. They've got the time now without the Tide and the Ravage. They just go straight to the Roach Pit.
It's not going to take them very long to do it either. It'll be a very, very fast process. And I imagine it'll probably just go to the Skeleton King again. Yeah, Dreamer Soul, 3 lives for him.
Yeah, just perfect. It gets a bit hard to deal with the Wraith King. I think at this point, TNC will have to try to ignore him, but you can't ignore Skeleton King, who does have the Radiant. Like, you're just going to be burned down. It's always going to be an issue.
Bit of a shame as well, Febby still working towards that Blink Dagger on the Earthshaker. So he's got the Philosopher's Stone to speed things up a little bit. But we are approaching that 20-minute mark now. He definitely wants that up ASAP. It's almost like they're buying him space at the moment to just try and farm that up.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Gabby could be in trouble here. Being currently stalked, and a Hawk will scout him out farming those Ancients. Arrow, gonna be perfect. Ooh. It does connect straight after the Ancients go down, but you don't have the backup there for Hyde. So he can't really make the jump in, and Makoto had Reaper Scythe in 5 seconds, but the timing didn't quite align.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. Would have been a nice kill to find before Gabby finishes up the BKB, which I do believe he will have up and running soon. So the PA has a lot more presence in these fights. Should be able to stand there and just get all the damage out as long as FBZ doesn't get the roar off. So TNC is starting to shape up into fighting form. KP.
He's going to get jumped on by those units of FBZ. He's still a very, very tanky target. They won't quite make the jump. There's that BKB you talked about. Gabby does now have it up, and I imagine TNC will probably go for a smoke now. They also have Febby with the blink. In fact, mid lane, this couldn't be a more perfect moment for TNC if they kept going on Boom, but they don't. Dreamersaur backs off at the right time. And they're actually were waiting as well for the Beastmaster blink, and now FBZ has that up.
Yeah, you've got all the initiation from both sides now. Can be rather shocking. I think it's on TNC to get the better jump. They've got all the wide AoE spells, they've got the slam, and Ravage. It's much more important for them to land that on a wide area than it is for Boom.
Oh, Boom, they smoked up, and the Moonlight Shadow is also going to be there. Wanting to go into that Radiant side triangle, but TNC did spot out the Moonlight. Dream Assault underneath the Sentry Ward right now as well. Gabby is, you know, he's blurred up, but they know exactly where he is. Love to make the jump. There's so many abilities you've got to be worried about here from TNC. Arrow connecting on KP. Again, Kraken Chill will save, but Reaper Scythe out. Now the Ravage does connect on all four heroes in the mid lane. They jump in, but Febby, he got roared as he blinked in, so he got no echo off. Now Dreamercell just going to turn around. He'll lose one life. Gabby's going to go for the fight. Soulbind is there onto two. He's trying to burst down that Beastmaster, but a great cold embrace from Kezcute, and now Dreamercell rushes onto the PA. And Dreamercell does harvest March's Soul. And Boom. Oh, John, it would have been such a big echo. In fact, he didn't even have echo. Why did he blink in?
Just to break up the fight, perhaps? Scared him off? It doesn't pay off, and you do find Dreamocell. It's just that's just his reincarnation, so the Aegis is still up and running. If this lasts long enough, you might end up with 3 lives once more, but Boom do pull back. They don't want to push their luck.
Oh, nice block though. Febby does get a great Fisher out. Makoto is blocked up in there, or maybe he's not. He found a little gap. KP gonna be in trouble. Arrow connects as well. Gabby jumping in, but not quite finding the target he wants. Makoto, he'll be fine. He'll just walk out of there. You do have Raw back up in about 5 seconds. Boom. They're going to continue posturing around this mid lane. Seemingly not much to be afraid about here for Boom, but eventually they do decide we'll just back off now. No need to force anything.
Yeah, it's they've got the, I believe, Silver Edge up in Dreamocell, so they've got a way to break through the PA. Although they do lose the Aegis, it does expire. Gonna have to be slightly careful there.
Dreamocell. Raw going to be out. They have caught out Armel on the Prophet. That's a big issue here for Armel. Going down. Sprout is there with the TP, but they have the axes. And you know, John, this mid Prophet, it's not working out great.
No, it's really not. And with this kind of build, he does have some pickoff. Oh,
top lane. Oh, they found that it is Makoto, but he just heals up all the way to full HP with Ghost Shroud. He has the Reaper Scythe. Gabby trying to BKB and get out of there. Dreamercell right behind him. TP is out, but there's the Monster's Curse from Kezcute, just perfect. And they taunt in front of him. Reaper Scythe. Still, nice fish from Febby, but that actually blocks him in. Gabby can't blink out of there. Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
And that is another harvest for Dreamercell. Dreamercell is dancing his way to the top creep wave.
This is just not going great for TNC. Febby had to pop his slam there earlier on Mikado, and they don't even find that kill. So they don't have the Echo Slam. They do have the Ravage. This is not the time for TNC to try to find fights. They need to pull back, farm up a bit more. And if Boom is going to force a tower out, like this tier 2 top, even if it's the last outer tower, without that slam, I don't know if you have enough damage to burn through 2 lives of Dreamocell.
Yeah, it's looking quite doubtful. I mean, he hasn't gone for any kind of tanky build right now on that Wraith King, but he is slowly going to start working towards the AC. Fairly standard stuff for the Wraith King. He will just pressure that top tier 2 tower. I just don't see them doing anything about it. He's literally just going to take it for free. No contention.
Yeah, they're just trying to push out the bot lane. You see Armel again doing nature prophet things, but they've got the TPs in. They actually want to fight this.
You've got Reaper Scythe on cooldown right now, so Makoto won't have it for another 30 seconds. Hyde trying to get in there onto KP. Febby right by his side, but doesn't have Echo. So they definitely don't really want to fight on the side of TNC right now, but a curse will come out. It's Kezcute again with the Meteor Hammer to stun him up. Now the follow-up arrow. KP falling low. Nobody jumping him to help, but that's a great three-man Fisher. Still with no Echo. You can't turn this one around. KP will not expend the Ravage just for this. He will die with it. And Makoto is waiting for his Reaper Scythe. And there it is.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's not looking great still for TNC. They're bleeding out heroes one by one. They haven't been really able to pressure too many towers as well. Like Armel split pushing fine. It's not translating to any real objectives, and Dream itself just goes up to the tier 3s by himself.
Why not? How do you kill him? He's just way too difficult to deal with right now. He's got that Hyperstone as well, so he's attacking very, very quickly. Fisher out from Febby, not really going to help the cause too much. They will just lose their mid barracks. I guess at least Gabby finds the other dominated creep from FBZ, but now Silver Edge forcing out the BKB. I love that from Dreamercell. Like, he knows his job is done in the mid lane, but he just goes in, forces a BKB charge out of Gabby, and now with that BKB on cooldown, you go for a bot lane. They can't fight.
Yeah, that you still have Reincarnation up. You've got basically everything you want in terms of control up and running, although they will punish KP. Oh, Armel.
Yeah, he's been caught out. He's trying his best to try and make sure his team doesn't have to try and defend high ground again. Hyde will go ahead and take that kill for himself. It's the only play he had. You can't really do much else. You were going to lose that bot racks as well had he not pushed out the top lane. It's just unfortunate he does get killed off in the process.
Yeah, there's really not much he can do to escape. He doesn't build anything like the Shadow Blade. So once he's caught, he's caught.
Okay, so March has got an idea. What if I make an ink portrait of the Skeleton King? Maybe that'll work. If we don't have a carry strong enough, we'll just take their carry.
I guess that works. We'll see how effective that is, really. We have seen this item pickup every now and again in the Grimstroke. So, you'd better hope that Dreamocell hurts himself more than he would other people.
You know what, though? There are better options, even apart from that Skeleton King. Like, even just taking the Necrophos, you do get the Heartstopper aura. So you could just have that going. Even the Beastmaster, you could still his aura, but Dreamercell getting jumped on. There's a big stun with that Inkswell. Gabby jumps in, takes down one life of Dreamercell. He'll come back. Now a huge Ravage out from KB with the Echo there from Febby. They do blow up Dreamercell and Kezcute on the Wyvern. He'll go down. Now Makoto trapped between a rock and a hard place. He'll go down as well to Febby on the Earthshaker. And, well, Hyde, he does manage to get out of there on the Mirana, or does he? Febby. Very, very close, but no cigar. It's still a great team fight for TNC, and now they can go and try and clean up a Roshan.
Yeah, it's going to be straightforward for TNC. Biggest issue for Boom was the fact that they could not get the Winter's Curse off. That just ruined their entire counter fight, and TNC now going to have that Aegis and Cheese. Makes it a bit more complicated for Boom to try to close this game out.
That it does. Gabby, the one with the 2 lives now, so both cores, or both POS 1s, can survive twice. You're starting to get to that point where Gabby is hitting very, very hard. I thought he might try to finish off the Abyssal Blade first, but it looks like he is going to try and just get the Satanic up first. Which I actually can't blame him for, because the Satanic does have so much more turn potential. Oh, Kezcute doesn't see Gabby in that blur and just gets destroyed. No Inkswell necessary.
Yeah, again, a lot of Boom's initiation now is going to have to rely on the Winter's Curse. They don't have wide AoE spells. It's all single target. except for the Winter's Curse. They need to either find a pick-off with a Roar, or have TNC in a bad spot and have them kill off themselves.
Nice Orchid there onto the Mirana Hide. He's just stuck, but he does leap away. That's a support Mirana, unless... No crit.
Ooh.
That's concerning though, right? It's a support Mirana. You had 3 heroes, you have the Orchid. It just doesn't end up being enough. And you could make the argument that Crimson Guard does really save the day for that Mirana, as it blocks out so much damage from Gabby. And now Dreamer Soul gonna run up, sees KP, does use the Silver Edge on the Tidehunter. No Kraken Shell now. With that arrow, they do secure a very easy kill.
Oh,
Another
Gabby?
harvest there, and March gonna be in trouble as well, getting jumped on. He will be able to get out. Gabby, however, who's he going on? FBZ will be able to clear up the Aegis. There is an ink portrait there of the Skeleton King, but it doesn't do much. And now the arrow onto Gabby with the Reaper Scythe. Send him to the graveyard. And that's a long respawn timer on the PA, John. He's going to have to buy back, surely.
Yeah, it's a great set of pickoffs for Boom. They find the Aegis carrier. You're not going to have to deal with that second life anymore. They clean up the Tide. There are still things to worry about into the high ground. They still have the Echo Slam. They still have the Ravage when the Tide's back up. So Boom has to be careful with their spacing. They cannot allow themselves to be jumped like they were last time.
No, they cannot. They may not have many options, though. We'll see. Do they expend the buyback? KP is going to try and delay things. A stun out from Dreamer Cell. Now Winter's Curse is going to be there on March, but there's the Ravage. It does connect onto 4 heroes. Still, it does nothing. There was no real follow-up to it. Kescute is going to fall low, but they can't really finish the job. And now the arrow. Hide. He does connect onto Armel. A great fish of Febby. No!
What?
Oh, the blink
Radiance
was
burn.
cancelled. The Radiance from Dreamer Cell. Now KP's going to die. Oh, Febby, he jumps in, but it's too late. Oh, he's going to die for his sins. Still, he could try to make a big play here on Makoto, but he's gone. Soulbind is there. Gabby, he does come back with a buyback. They all buy back. Gabby will get Makoto and now should be able to find the Skeleton King. They do dodge out that arrow. That's his first life. And they will find the second as well. But that cost them 4 buybacks. That one kill on the or 2 kills on the Necrophos and Skeleton King at the end. It's a real shame when that happens.
Yeah, it's something that can slip your mind, you know, in the middle of it, and it's going to be a bit harder for TNC to commit to a lot more now. They don't have the leeway of having buybacks, so when they go for these objectives, it's kind of an all-in. Looks like they will want to pressure the tier 2 mid. They should be able to take it, as you don't really have much from Boom to defend. So they can find this objective at least.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Do they, though? They get a tier 2 tower. That's great and all, but you'd hope for a bit more out of that. I mean,
that's the best you can get, though. Like, the respawns aren't too long. You've also got FBZ, who was trying to cut that creep wave. Wouldn't have lasted long anyway in March.
he's going to get roared up. Those half Beastmaster creeps. They hit hard, but they'll clear him out. Gabby will take the rest. FBZ does get his way out of there. You don't mind really committing the roar at this stage of the game either. Like, the cooldown really isn't that long.
It's worthwhile just to stall out TNC, and you've got everyone from Boom's side respawning now.
Are scanning.
They don't quite have buybacks. In fact, there are no buybacks in map beyond our Melts NP. So perhaps work on farming that up, at least on Dreamocell, before they end up committing anything big, although they are smoked up.
Yeah, but they have the low ground. FBZ gonna send a Hawk up, does get broken here from KP. Gets the ensnare off. Arrow, probably not gonna land. Now gonna posture around that Roshan pit for a little bit here, Boom Esports, but there is no Roshan for quite a while. They could have tried for Armel down at the bot lane, but he is out of there now. On the bright side, all this time that has been made does allow Dream Assault to buy out his full BKB now. And it's going to be a 10-second charge on that BKB at, we're 36 minutes into the game.
Oh.
It's really game-changing, and old Gabby can't afford to get hit like this. Nice fish around though from Febby. We'll block them out. That Ink Portrait though, look how much damage it's dealing.
Oh.
It's critting for over 1k right now. That Ink Portrait is scarier than the actual hero. And eventually it will die. It does take a substantial amount of damage. And Boom will have to find another way into this team fight.
Yeah, it's, you are seeing TNC farm up fairly well as well. They've turned that advantage just a bit lower to 4 to 5k. Although Gabby, again, just being a bit forward.
I think they can afford to do this though, because you look at top lane and Armel is just split pushing again. Dream Assault gonna TP up. He knows he needs to defend this. And now TNC will definitely be willing to take a team fight. Problem is they're constantly being scouted out by Hawks. And the Beastmaster doesn't exactly have the highest cooldown for those Hawks either. You have this permanent vision essentially from FBZ. Eventually, Dream Assault, he's going to be able to work his way back down towards his team. But for now, John, tier 4 items are to be found from both teams before we see anything else, I think.
Yeah, you might as well. Is that time? Gives you a nice little boost. Have to say, Febby finding that relic would be nice. Does look at it's coming out in the courier, so a little bit more damage, a little bit more stun time coming out on Fabian. That's always useful to have.
Oh, it's great on an Earthshaker. 25% debuff time. It's pretty darn nice. Smoke up here from Boom with the Moonlight. Gonna spot out KP. There is a sentry ward already down, so they can't really run too far forward, but Makoto now going to show himself. March gets cursed up. They want to get rid of that Grimstroke, but KP does throw out the Ravage. Arrow does connect, however. The team fight does begin. Dream Assault, he uses his BKB here. Soulbind's going to come out, but they don't really initiate all the way. They just weren't feeling quite comfortable about that one. And even though the Ravage was expended, they just want to try and reset and come back in. Maybe just wait out that BKB for Dream Assault before you try again.
Yeah, and that was off the back of Febby having a good block, but Fisher just broke up the fight. They couldn't reach the Grimstroke before the illusion came out, and they were starting to clump up, so they did not want to get slammed. Just a lot of cautious play coming out from Boom.
Thing is, while all this is happening, Armel finds another tower. Just down at that bot lane, he finds the final tier 2 tower. Hyde will TP in to try and get that wave pushed out again. And now you have a Scythe device up on Armel, and that's a big item to have. As well as that, even the blink on KP is available. They will smoke up. FBZ be a nice target to go for. They haven't spotted him quite yet, and now the Moonlight Shadow is going to make it hard to find anyone. Hyde walks right by them. Gabby, we'll just get back to farming some Ancients. No vision on the side of TNC right now. Gonna run back into FBZ, who breaks the smoke. They're grouped up. Winter's Curse.
Oh.
It's gonna be straight on top of that Grimstroke. It's a great opening, and now the triple stun with the Meteor Hammer. The Reaper Scythe as well. They just get blown up. Gabby, yeah, he just BKB TPs out. He's not bothering with this. KP may not be so lucky to know he is Hyde. Wasn't quick enough with the arrow. But just 2 supports being removed from the game. No buybacks available on either. And Boom Esports, they have a great opening to go high ground again.
Yeah, it is going to be a lot easier without that illusion coming out onto Dreamocell. So you don't have to deal with the Raid King up himself. This should allow them to at least clear out those bot racks, which have been exposed. They do have to worry about the Ravage. The Slam will be up when Febby's back as well, so there are some tools still available for TNC.
sure. But are they going to have those tools in time? There's only one Rax left. No tier 2 tower defending that Rax. So it's an open tier 3 here for Boom Esports to go after. TNC, they've got to fight. Looks like the Grimstroke will have enough gold. KB blinks in, finds a 5-man Ravage, but Gabby can't actually burst anyone fast enough. The Ghost Scepters are enough. Now the Roar on Gabby. He's in big trouble. They're trying to focus him down, but the Satanic will help him survive. He gets 1 kill onto Dreamer Cell. Trying to go on Makoto. He'll go swarm up as well. Now the Scythe Device. Dreamer Cell, he does end up dying. They also found FBZ. The curse is finally there, but it will not matter. They are going to find a third in the form of Makoto. All 3 cores will go down for Boom. And Febby is still trying to find another. Mel TP is in a bit short. But they have a Roshan up. And TNC will try to make a comeback with this Roshan.
Can't allow that to go if you're Boom. The Ravage is down, the Slam is down. This is a pretty good time to go in there. It's just that they can't. And now that's going to be a refresh shard up for TNC.
KP.
Potentially a double Ravage.
Oh, it's definitely.
And that's it's just going to give them so much more to play with, and Boom. They're losing a lot of ground. They've lost their gold advantage. It's just 3k now. TNC, they can push really fast with Armel's build.
And that they will.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Tier 3 tower going to go down. Still no buybacks being expended. There's Dreamer Cell. He will commit his. You're going to need more than that, though. They aren't going to back off just for 1 Skeleton King. And Dreamer Cell, if you die right now, it's going to be disaster for Boom Esports. Arrow is going to come out. It does connect on Gabby. He's in trouble, but Fisher does come in. Now that Ink Portrait again doing a lot of damage. That Cold Embrace is going to save the day for Dreamer Cell. But not for the mid-racks, which is still going down. Another great arrow out from Hyde. Where did he go? He does just back off. You have Makoto up in 5 seconds. Mel, Winter's Curse, going to get caught out. Gabby's still around with that Aegis. He might just turn around here. Dagger's flying out with the Meteor Hammer. KP waiting for the first Ravage. Still 20 seconds away. He'll try onto the Mirana though. Rory's there from FBZ. Just stopping Gabby through the BKB, but now he'll try again onto Hyde. Maybe just have to give up on that one though. Hyde is just not dying. All these daggers being thrown out, not really doing too much either. No crits. And Boom Esports do manage to at least hold on to that secondary racks in the mid lane.
Yeah, it's getting tricky for Boom to get into these fights. TNC is finding the openings and starting to punish Boom's movement. Boom needs to land a really big Winter's Curse. This is the win condition. It's all about Kezcute finding the targets, getting the chain stunts off. If not, you're looking at a Ravage, you're looking at an Echo Slam flying out, and Boom just gets squashed as 5. There's just no way for them to stop that from happening.
Well, the next team fight's going to be extremely hard for Boom. And we can all agree on that. You already have the first Ravage up now for KP. And that was the only reason I think that TNC did not take that fight in that mid lane just a minute ago. Because they had about 20 seconds left for the first Ravage, and you weren't going to refresh just for 1. So now TNC looking for a smoke. They will commit. Back down to that mid lane. You still have the Aegis. You still have the cheese. Of course, if they kill Dreamer Cell, he is gone. That'll be a dieback on him, and Dreamer Cell might show himself. Don't do it. It's dangerous. He does actually break the smoke, so Dreamer Cell, perfect timing there. Still, TNC should be more than happy to just keep going forward into a huge team fight. But it looks like they may opt to smoke again. They actually do decide to back off.
It's a bit tricky for both sides. TNC, even if they're ahead. Oh.
Out far. Moonlight Shadow going to be there. Dreamer Cell baiting them in. Gabby comes in as well. They have Roared, but they won't commit yet. Dreamer Cell just stuns and runs away. Still Gabby looking for a target. KP waiting in the tree line, but Dreamer Cell wants to take that Tide out first if he can. Nice Fisher. Does catch out Hyde. Now they jump in, of course, again, back onto Dreamer Soul. They got that Ink Portrait, and now the Ravage does come out. There's one. KP holding, doesn't throw the second one out yet. Dreamer Soul is very low and does die for the first time. Fisher is there on Makoto. Dreamer Soul does pop the BKB, but Gabby is not done. He keeps rushing forward, trying to get a kill onto Makoto. There's a curse out from Kezcute onto that Tidehunter. It's not going to do too much yet, but they're keeping him stunned up. Don't let him ravage again. They are still going after Makoto, however. Ghost Shroud will save him. Dreamer Soul, are you coming back into this team fight? Not quite yet. They're just waiting on the high ground. Another big ravage. Makoto's still not dead. Now Febby jumps in for the Echo. It doesn't do too much, but they do finally kill off Makoto. Febby is low, but it looks like Boom Esports are unwilling to chase for the kill. They do have a buyback available on Makoto if they so wish to try and turn. Dreamer Soul has Reincarnate back up. Gabby, Satanic committed, will go up back. Oh, in fact, it wasn't committed, it was just his natural life steal. But now he probably will commit it as he have to jump in and heal himself up a little bit. Still, he is falling very, very low now. May have to commit the Aegis. Dreamer Cell also falling low, and the Aegis does expire. Now Gabby cannot afford to die. Dreamer Cell so close, but Armel gets a sprout off on the Skeleton King, not allowing that right-click damage to come out. Still, they chase Hyde. There with the Starfall. Connects the arrow as well. Gabby's in trouble. He will go down. He does have buyback gold. He'll be fine.
It happens a lot of time where TNC, they drag out that fight, they don't find the objectives. And boom, this gives them an opportunity to go back outside a map, shove out a lane. Maybe they just commit to the Divine on Dreamer Cell. He's got it queued up. If the fights last long enough, he's going to be alive anyway, multiple times. So there is value there. You worry about the damage output that the Dark Portrait can do, though. That is something Boom has to really be careful about if that Divine does come flying in.
I don't know about the Divine. I really don't. Like, you're going to give that Ink Portrait a Divine Rapier as well? It seems like a bad idea. But Dreamer Soul, he just wants to be able to burst people down. He feels like his DPS is not high enough as is. And in all fairness, once he does have the Divine, if he gets a crit, that is almost a guaranteed kill.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Pretty much on anybody on the map right now, apart from KP. We'll see Armel. He does go into the mid barracks with those treants, and a Divine has been bought out by the Skeleton King. Dreamer Soul brings it out on the Courier. And this is where...
double damage.
Oh boy. Alright, so auto attack's doing almost 1,000 damage now, without crit. Wonder how much he crits for. Dreamer Soul hits something. 2.6. Not bad, not bad. Pretty decent damage.
That is more than decent in my eyes. I think right now, Boom, if they actually just fight in the Roche, get the Ags onto their Raid King, I think they've secured themselves a very long stall at the very least. It's just that the Roche, we've still got to wait for it to come up. And TNC, they've got the Slam and Ravage back up and running. So it's not the safest fight in that pit anymore.
Armel finds a Courier. May have given himself away though. Oh, Raw and Winter's Curse at the same time. Still, they should be able to secure Armel, and they do. Reaper's Scythe going to come in. Armel will die, but he has buyback. Still, if Boom Esports can get very lucky and find an early Roche, they would be very happy with themselves right now, but we're going to find that in 7 seconds when it does come up. We'll see how lucky Boom is today. And it is... Oh, that's lucky. 25 seconds for the next Roshan.
Oh yeah, that is going to be very important for Boom. Again, they blew a lot of gold on Dreamo Cell, and they're taking a massive risk with that Divine. They need the Aegis, and the Ags, and the Cheese. They need all of it to go up here and just turn this fight. It's been so even. Even the net worth, Mike. 1k advantage for TNC at this time doesn't matter. It's dead even so far.
They spot out the Roshan as well. They know. This Roshan's so perfect because you can force out the buyback from Armel without even really putting yourself at risk. And Dream Missile's critting for 2.4k right now. This Roshan's not going to take very long at this rate. Ouch. Courier going to scout out. See ya, Courier. Back to the grave for you. They're going to try and fight this KP. Does have his blink cancelled there by Makoto. Roshan, so close. Nobody's in there. Dream Missile's going to be able to pick up everything. Aegis still... Oh, Aegis is still on the deck.
No. It's there. The Ags is still there. Dream Missile struggling with his inventory.
Oh, he's got the refresher shot there as well.
Pick it up. You gotta pick it up. KP's gonna go take it.
Oh, what a pause timing. This is the most unfortunate...
BKB.
This
Just
is
BKB Dream Missile.
He has to, but that Ravage is coming.
Oh,
It's coming.
that's enough time though. I think that's enough time. This pause is hurting TNC a bit more because Dream Missile's gonna be alive.
Don't turn around right now, Dream Missile. Just press BKB. You don't want to see what's behind you right now.
Do it. Drop the wand. BKB, drop the wand.
I mean, that's the obvious choice. You just drop the wand, pick up the Ags, use the Ags, then get the refresher shard. That's the best way to do it. It's hard. Obviously, like, he's in the middle of a team fight right now, John. It's hard to think that fast. He should know now. I mean, in some weird way, that pause is kind of lucky because Dream Missile gets to think about what's happening. But for TNC, it is very unfortunate timing. For sure.
Yeah.
Because they would have gotten that Ravage, which meant that maybe you could have stolen the Ags refresher.
Yeah, there we go.
All right,
Let's see how this folds out.
Let's see how it does, Dream Missile. How quick are you going to be,
on.
sir? Gets stunned up. He doesn't touch the BKB. And KP, he does refresh the Ravage. Does also have the Axe, I believe. In fact, no, who does? It is the Wraith King. Ravage has been committed by KP. Dream Missile going to chase him down. Should be able to find the kill, but now Gabby trying on Makoto. Winter's Curse comes out. Makoto still surviving throughout all this. And now the arrow comes out. Gabby, he is perma-stunned right now. But a nice sight device. Armel protecting his teammate. They'll turn around. They are going to find the reincarnation life, but Gabby's still in trouble. He's trying to blink strike out of there. He still has his own BKB. Dream Missile would love to keep going, but a great Fisher from Febby. He does cop the arrow. They are still in the chase, however. Hyde is keeping up vision. Febby will die. FBZ, Raw is back up. That's how long this team fight's been going. He gets the PA with that Raw. Arrow blocked by KP. He'll take the arrow for his teammates. Fisher is going to be there. Oh my. And if they kill Dream Missile, they've got so many lives to get through. That's the problem. And with that Aghanim Scepter, Dream Missile can TP out with the reincarnated life from the Ags and actually keep the Divine in base.
Yeah. There's just no way this goes wrong for Boom unless they mess up some sort of timing, but that's Mega Creeps.
That is Megas. There it is. Satanic will come out on Armel. They've got to go for this fight, I think. Boom, they're not backing off. If you are Boom, you just want to finish this right here, right now. Dream Assault. Yeah, he's just going to focus on objectives. KP does not have a Ravage. Scythe the Vice. Gabby will jump in straight into that Skeleton King. Maybe finds one life, but no lucky crits coming out for him. Now, no, still no crits coming out. Dream Assault survives, and now the Roar comes out. Gaben? What do you mean? Febby gets the Echo. It's a big one, but you've got so many lives on the Wraith King. There's no follow-up to it. PA will jump in again, still not critting. Dream Assault just surviving throughout all of it. Now gets a few. Dream Assault will lose his Aegis. One more life, and then you've got to cancel the TP to get that Rapier. But that Ancient is still exposed right now. They do Scythe Device him up. Dream Assault, he is falling low. He BKBs. Still back to the Ancient, but Gabby jumps in. He eats the cheese now. Surviving. Roar out on the PA. KP with the Ravage does connect. Now the Wraith King is in trouble. Very, very low, but no.
Oh.
The Cold Embrace will save. Gabby still trying to go back onto that Skeleton King. They have the control. He does go down. Now the one life left. Does he TP or does he fight? He fights. He finds Gabby with the crit. He thinks about TPing out.
Oh.
He will die, but he is back again with the reincarnation. The man never dies. The one true king will always survive, and boom, esports.
Oh my god.
It's the Arcana, John. It's the Arcana.
Oh. Wow. What a match to start the series. Boom. A lot of back and forth. TNC, this is the best they've looked so far. Not enough. Boom. Playing on the edge, Dreamo Cell.
Oh my goodness.
Keeping us all on the edge there.
Oh, what a game one. Game two will be coming up very, very soon. It is MLP Dota and johnxfire. And, you know what, let's have a quick look. How much damage did Dreamo Cell do? Yeah, 58,000. It's not too bad. Gabby had 53. I mean, come on, Gabby did 53 without a Divine Rapier. So it's, you know.
Yeah, that's fair.
March got 29,000 out because of that ink portrait. So there you go. His almost his highest damage is actually the Wraith King. So there you have it. It is MLP Dota and johnxfire. We'll see you all again very, very soon for that game number 2.